So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back. I am Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, and we're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and broadcasting around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, iHeartRadio, Simul Radio, and Simul TV. If you'd like to find out about the programming we have available for you 24/7, 365 on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net. And for all the programming on the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV, visit www.simultv.com, and the X Zone TV channel is channel 21. My guest this hour, X Zone Nation, is Rodney M. Cluff. He is the author of The World Top Secret, Our Earth is Hollow. Rodney was born and raised in the American Mormon colony of Colonia Juarez in North. I'm sorry?
Colonia Juarez.
In Juarez?
Yeah, Juarez.
Right. Okay, in northern Mexico, he became interested in the hollow earth theory at the age of 16 while working on a New Mexico farm, where the farm manager told the workers of the theory. He thought, what an ideal place for the Lord to hide the lost tribes of Israel. After graduating from high school, Mr. Cluff served a full-time mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints in Mexico, where he met his wife. 1 year after his release, they were married in the Mesa, Arizona temple, and now they have 5 lovely children, 15 lovelier grandchildren, and 2 even lovelier great-grandchildren. For more information about Rodney Cluff, visit his website at www.ourhollowearth.com. And Rodney, welcome to the X Zone, sir.
Nice to be with you on the program today.
There you were, working on a farm in New Mexico. The manager tells you about this hollow earth theory. How did he explain it to you?
Well, actually, I didn't hear him. It was my friend that had just graduated from high school that spring, Greg Bowman. He had been with the other boys, and they were with the manager's son, who apparently had read the Hollow Earth book by Raymond Bernard, and he just told the kids that he thought that would be an ideal place for the Lord to hide the lost 10 tribes. And when my friend told me about it, that really piqued my interest. And years later, when I saw an advertisement for Raymond Bernard's book, I sent off for it, and that started my research in depth into this theory that the Earth is hollow. And I've come up with a substantial amount of scriptural, scientific, and historical evidence that, contrary to popular belief, even what scientists teach in college, our Earth and all the planets and even the sun are hollow.
All right. You said that you have scientific, historical, and scriptural proof to prove the theory. And I was wondering if you could tell us what are some of the scriptural proof that you have that you claim is actual proof of the hollow Earth existence.
Well, there are several scriptures that talk about when God sends His Son again to Earth. All people will hear Him above the earth and under the earth, it says. So, but the main evidence is in my chapter 5, Paradise Found. In Paradise Found, I describe how the scriptures describe the earth. The earth has a spirit. It's a living being. And the spirit of the earth is the spirit world where the spirits of people who die go to until they're resurrected from the dead. And now the scriptures tell us plainly that in the spirit world there are two places. One is called paradise, and the other is called hell. And they're separated by a great gulf. And, that just perfectly describes the earth, because just like you and I, our spirits that are within our bodies look just like us, okay? But they're the child of God. And the spirit within us never dies. But when our physical body dies, the spirit leaves the body. And our spirits go to either paradise or hell, which is one of the two places in the spirit world of this earth. So just like our spirits look like us, the earth spirit looks like its physical body too. So in order for it to have two places separated by a great gulf, it has to have physical counterparts. And Jesus told us where paradise was. He told the thief on the cross, "Today thou shalt be with me in paradise." Okay? But that doesn't necessarily mean that he was going there to stay, but that's where Jesus was going to meet with him after he died. And prior to that, he had told the Pharisees in Matthew chapter 12, verse 40, where paradise was. He says, "Even as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale, even so should the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." When he died, his spirit was going to go to paradise, and that's where paradise is, in the heart of the earth. Now, in the scriptures, you can find several references to where hell is, and it's down from our point of view here on the exterior surface of the planet. So if you go down a certain amount of miles, you would get to the end of hell and come to a great gulf that separates hell from paradise. And in Mark, it's in Luke chapter 16. The rich man, the experience of the rich man and Lazarus, the poor man, describes the great gulf. Because Lazarus, as you know, he was a poor man and he was a beggar at the rich man's table, and he would beg for crumbs falling off the rich man's table, and the dogs would lick his sores, and he died. And he went to paradise. But the rich man, he died, and because of his acts in this life, he ended up in hell.
But didn't Christ raise Lazarus from the dead?
Right. Well, this This poor man is a different one. It's just a parable, okay?
Okay.
It's a story that Jesus was telling to illustrate the point of view of the spirit world.
All right. Yeah,
But
that just got me a little confused there. That was all.
Yeah, no. Lazarus was a righteous man, but I think this is a parable, just a story, not about Lazarus specifically.
Sure.
But it goes on to say that the rich man died, and in hell he looked up to heaven, and he could see Abraham, and in his bosom was Lazarus. And he says, Abraham, send me down Lazarus because I'm burned up down here in hell with some water, because in hell there's no water. And Abraham says, well, I'm sorry, sir, but between you and us there's a great gulf which separates hell from paradise. and the effect of this great separation or gulf is that you cannot come here, nor can we go there. Of course, after Jesus Christ went to paradise, he bridged the gulf. In paradise, he established his church just like he did in life here on the surface of the planet. And then he gave power to his ministers to bridge the gulf and go into hell to preach the gospel. So after that, anyone in hell that accepts Jesus Christ and repents for their sins, they can be given the power to bridge the gulf and go into paradise if they repent of their sins.
Is it possible the reference made that, you made earlier about under the earth, that this could just relate to people who are buried? They're under the earth?
No, because it says everybody is going to hear his voice, whether they're above the earth, under the earth, or in the earth. So, yeah, it's not speaking, it's speaking to the live people that are alive on the earth when the Lord Jesus comes for his second coming.
All right, stand by, please, Rodney. You and I have to take our first break. And X-Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Rodney Cluff, and he's the author of World Top Secret, Our Earth is Hollow, and his website is ourhollowEarth.com. And Rodney and I will be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And there are many of you watching me on X-Zone TV channel saying, Rob, you're wearing a red shirt. Yeah, it's for Christmas, guys. And tomorrow I'll probably be wearing a green one. Who knows? I might just knock off the black and use different colors from now on. I don't know. I kind of like it. I'll be back. Don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. The new nonfiction book, Razor of Madness, is similar to cult movies like Clockwork Orange, Dragon's Tattoo, or The Other Side of Hell. Wayne Morin Jr. and Thomas Lee Howell expose widespread and systematic deficiencies in this thought-provoking tell-all novel. Mind control rages among scholars in law schools. Human rights are ignored while thought reform and mental manipulation are accepted practices used as behavior modification. Dr. Louis Jolyon West comes to mind. Media and public scrutiny shows that United States mental hospitals are in fact destructive murder industries. Razor of Madness expose novel details this epidemic through an in-depth professional and personal investigation. For decades there has been a revolving door policy that still releases killers and pedophiles back into society. The maestro of mind control continues to haunt America to this very day. Razor of Madness is available in paperback or as a downloadable ebook at Amazon.com. And welcome back, everyone. If you could see the inside of our studio, facing me in the corner, somebody decided to decorate the studio with a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. You've got to be in the media to have this kind of sense of humor. So whoever did that, Craig, thank you very much. I love that Christmas tree. Exonation, before I get back to our guest this hour, Rodney Cluff, we have a new show starting here on the Exxon Broadcast Network in January of 2019. It is Heart to Heart with Dr. Dan and Sister Ann. And we'll be telling you more as we get closer to the broadcast date. The hosts are Dan Clark and his wife, Angela Clark. So we're looking forward to having Dan and Angela as part of our network. And if you have an idea for a radio show and if you'd like to be part of our network, just send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, and I will send it to our programmers, and somebody will get in touch with you and discuss your concept and your idea. All right, let's get back to the Hollow Earth Theory. Rodney Cluff is our special guest, and he's the author of World Top Secret, Our Earth is Hollow, and his website is ourhollowearth.com. All right, they were some very compelling verses from the scripture that could be interpreted as pertaining to the hollow earth. Now, let's go to the other side of the coin and talk about the scientific evidence.
Okay, sure. Well, in my chapter 2 of my Hollow Earth book, I describe the scientific evidence that I've been able to find. And I would say probably the best evidence that our Earth is hollow scientifically are earthquakes. Every time there's a large earthquake, even the scientists, even the orthodox scientists admit that the Earth rings like a bell. Well, think about it. What shape does a bell have? Bell is hollow. And it's made out of metal, so that's what our Earth is certainly made out of metal and is hollow. And every time there's a great earthquake, the Earth rings like a bell.
Have you ever heard of the Schumann resonance?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Sure.
Could this be what they're pertaining to? Because the Schumann resonance is 7.83 hertz, and it's called the heartbeat of the planet. And could this be what they are referring to is the Schumann resonance?
Well, scientists even admit that the Earth is continually vibrating, and if the Earth was full of molten lava like the Orthodox science theory is, it would absorb all those vibrations.
Not necessarily. Water doesn't absorb vibrations.
Well, certainly, if the Earth is ringing like a bell, it's not made out of water. It's not made out of liquid. Okay.
So what's down there?
It's what's down there?
Yeah.
It's hollow. The Earth is hollow. The shell of the Earth is about 800 miles from the outside to the inside, and suspended in the center of the planet is an interior sun. And up near the poles, not at the poles, but close to them, about 300 miles away, are large openings that communicate from the outside to the inner surface. Admiral Byrd flew through the North Polar opening, the South Polar opening to the Hollow Earth. It was clamped down on by the United States Navy. They didn't want this to get out to the peoples of the world. So it's actually it's the world top secret.
Well, wasn't that proven to be a hoax, those photographs that were taken and they were seen on Google Earth? And when it was verified and checked into, it was, nothing could be proven to substantiate the claims.
Well, there's NASA scientists and NASA witnesses that have testified that they have their laboratories, that they take pictures from space, that they paintbrush out any indication of flying saucers. So certainly they would do the same thing from where they come from. They would whitewash out the polar opening so that it looks like ice and snow.
So are you saying there's a connection between the Hollow Earth theory and UFOs?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most of the flying saucers seen around the world have come from the Hollow Earth. When Admiral Byrd flew up to the Hollow Earth, I met this fellow up in Alaska. His name was John Gagne, and he was a radio announcer in Juneau for a time. And one evening he was out with some friends and saw a UFO light up above a mountain in the canyon that he was in, and it zipped off into space. He came back on the radio and said, "Has anybody else seen this UFO that we saw on the weekend?" Mm-hmm. And this lady came in a day or so later and said her name was Sylvia Dalvell, that she was a friend of Admiral Byrd, and that Admiral Byrd had confided in her that after his flight through the North Polar opening in 1947, he came to her and told her that they had flown over the ice, came to a continent covered with lush vegetation. They were sighted by flying saucers that took control of their craft with tractor beams, and they landed them near an inner Earth city, and they were given an ultimatum to take back to Washington, and that was that they considered themselves the guardians of this planet for the Creator, and they didn't want us using nuclear weapons to blow up the planet. And ever since, they've sent their flying saucers out to make sure that we don't have nuclear war. You can go on YouTube and listen to some of these expert witnesses that Dr. Greer, a medical doctor.
Yeah, don't get me going on Dr. Greer, because I think he's nothing but a fake and a charlatan.
Well, but not his witnesses.
Oh, and, come on. Listen,
several of his witnesses testify that flying saucers or UFOs have prevented nuclear war. They have shut down nuclear missiles.
Well, wait a second. Now you're talking about now you're talking about Captain Robert Salas. Okay, like we're very in tune to what goes on around here. So
yeah,
I understand that.
What these flying saucers do is they come out here and make sure that the ultimatum that they gave to Admiral Byrd is carried out. That we have no more nuclear weapons.
But we do have nuclear weapons. We do have nuclear weapons.
But not war. We haven't had a nuclear war since atomic weapons were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945.
Which they should have been dropped a lot sooner. But that's history for you.
That's the thing Russia and China and the United States have all their nuclear weapons pointed at each other, and they could, in the twist of war, they could just aim it through the polar opening and try to take out the inner planet, the people that live inside the planet.
Okay, now here's a question: who lives in the center of the planet?
Okay, well, the first evidence that we have of people that migrated to the Hollow Earth were the lost tribes of Israel that went up there 2,500 years ago. it was a Norwegian fisherman when his father, he wrote this book, The Smoky God. You can read it on my website.
Yeah.
He went up there. They had this legend that in the North Country, the chosen people lived. And so he encouraged his father, why don't we go exploring? They were up in the Arctic fishing. And they decided to go off and try their luck. And they did. They would just happen to go right exactly through the North Pole opening. And they met the people of the Hollow Earth.
Uh-huh.
He says that their God is Jehovah. They told him that their God is Jehovah. Jehovah is the God of the ancient Israelites. And so that's evidence right there that they are the lost tribes of Israel.
That is hearsay because there is no proof. This is just a fable, a myth, an urban legend, unless there is unequivocal proof.
Okay.
Here we are in the year 2018. Has anybody supplied a photograph of the cities and of the people who were purported to live in the Hollow Earth?
We went to Alaska in 1981. We went up there to look for evidence, and we met Fred Sandelin, who worked up on Prudhoe Bay, and he was tasked with going out and getting generators started up along the dew line. Mm-hmm. And he said in one of those dew stations, he saw some photographs of the giants of the Hollow Earth that somebody had taken. But this is world top secret, something that the controllers of this world do not want the people of the outer world to know about.
Why not?
Because they have us all subjected to their international debt monetary system that keeps us all slaves to them. They don't want to lose their slaves. If everybody knew that there was a paradise inside the earth, people would vacate the surface of the planet. They wouldn't have to live in debt to the slave masters.
So the people who live in the center of the earth, how do they sustain themselves?
Well, they have an inner sun. Olaf Janssen reported that the inner sun is divided between its day and night sides. God created it specifically for the inner planet, so that it gives off exactly the amount of heat and light needed for ideal climate situations.
All right, stand by. We've got to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, Rodney Cluff is our guest. His website is ourhollowearth.com, and we'll both be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Eli Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, After the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Rodney Cluff is our guest. His website is ourhollowEarth.com. Rodney, what stops the ocean, the Arctic Ocean, from careening down into the hollow Earth, or the Antarctic Ocean from careening into the hollow Earth?
Well, the polar opening in the Antarctic continent is on a continent, okay? It's not surrounded by water, so there's no way the water can get down it. But in the Arctic, the hole is in the Arctic Ocean. And the reason why water does not drain down the hole is because, contrary to what Orthodox science claims, the center of gravity is not in the center of the Earth solely, okay? Because most of the mass of the Earth is in its shell, 800 miles thick shell. The inner sun has very little mass compared to the shell of the planet. The center of gravity in the shell of the planet is between the outer and the inner surfaces. According to the Inner Earth Guide in the book Edidorpa, is written by a man named William Morgan, who called himself I Am the Man in the book. He was taken by an Inner Earth Guide through cavern in Kentucky in 1827 to the hollow Earth through communicating caverns. And the Inner Earth Guide told him that the center of gravity in the shell is 700 miles down from the outer surface of the planet. And that's because the Earth gets denser as you farther go down into the planet. Okay, so you have the center of gravity in the shell as you're going around the polar opening. You're pulled. The water is pulled and everything is pulled to the sides of the opening because the center of gravity is in the shell, not in the center of the planet or people living on the shell.
All right, now when it comes to the source of light in the hollow Earth, how does this work? Is it a sun like we have in the sky?
Actually, it looks bigger than ours. It's estimated to be 600 miles in diameter and about 3,000 some odd miles from the inner surface. So it looks actually about 21 times bigger than our outer sun because it's closer to the people that are looking at it from the inner surface. But it's constructed differently because half of it has like a white cloud, and the other side is dark. It's a smoky, brownish red color that Olaf Jensen called it the smoky god in his book. But in the center of that dark part of the inner sun is also an opaque round area that has lots of holes in it that lets the white light come out, so it looks like the stars shining at night. But since the inner sun only rotates about once every 700 years, it seems like it's stationary, and the Earth's shell rotates around it. And the rotation of the shell around it is what produces the magnetic field of the Earth, because the shell of the planet has a negative charge and the inner sun has a positive charge. And that causes the magnetic field of the Earth. Earth has a real powerful magnetic field.
So with the hollow Earth, the land mass that these people live on, would it be flat or round?
They have one continent that covers the whole inner surface except for one ocean that extends from the Arctic to the Antarctic. I estimate about 4,000 miles across. but most of the land inside is a continent. In fact, they have 3/4 land where we have 3/4 ocean on the outer surface. So they actually have more land inside the earth than we do.
And do they have animals down there as well?
Oh, yeah. Admiral Byrd took photographs of mammoths wandering on the terrain below. They have giant turtles. Olaf Jensen described them 7 feet tall and 20 feet long. They have mammoths that are 120 feet long and 75 feet tall as our giant dinosaur bones that we've been able to find. And there's birds also that are same size as here, but the other ones that have wingspan of like 20 feet that look like, little Piper Cub airplanes. So they have all kinds of animals. In down near Antarctica, there's an island where they found close to where the polar opening emits out from the South Polar area. They found some skeletons of giant penguins that were about 9 feet tall. And so Olaf Jensen, he reported those giant penguins before they were coming out through the South Polar opening.
So where are the skeletons of the penguins now?
Well, they found one in New Zealand, and they found one down on the Antarctic, a little island next to the Antarctic.
And are they available for the public to see?
Oh, yeah, you can go on the internet and look at the...
No, I don't mean the internet. I mean, is there a museum where people can actually walk in and see these skeletal remains? Because I don't believe anything on the internet.
Well, I'm sure they have the skeletons somewhere where they picked them up and took them, but I don't know exactly where they've got them.
Do they have a climate down in the Hollow Earth? Does it rain, for example?
Well, there's a mist that comes up from the ground because the inner Earth sun is a little bit not quite as hot on the dark side as it is on the light side, and so come evening, there's a change in temperature and there's a mist that goes up from the ground and it causes vegetation to grow really, really, really lushly. Olaf Jensen reported trees 1,000 feet tall. They're just all kinds of vegetation. Their apples, for example, from their apple trees everything grows big in Hollow Earth. The apples are as big as your head. Peaches, grapes are as big as peaches. He says that the climate is just perfect for the people that live there. And actually, according to the lost books of the Bible, that's where the lost Garden of Eden is. It's in the Hollow Earth. Olaf Jensen reported that the capital city of the Hollow Earth is the Garden of Eden. It's built around the Garden of Eden where our first parents were placed. It's on the highest mountain plateau of the inner continent on their southern hemisphere, which is under our northern hemisphere because the directions of the compass inside the Earth are just opposite of ours because of the magnetic field. Goes in the north and comes out the south, the magnetic field lines. And so their south pole is our north pole, and their north pole is our south pole.
What is the estimated population of the inhabitants of the center of the Earth?
Well, I don't know. I think because it has a continent much larger than ours, they have 3/4 land is 16,000 miles from one side to the other on this inner continent. They have the ability, they have the space to have enough people that to have more people than we do. But I don't know. I don't have an estimate of how many people live there.
Do they have electricity? What kind of buildings do they live in? What is their educational standards? What kind of machinery do they have?
Yeah, Olaf Jensen reported they live 800, 900 years old. In fact, I believe that they have the technology to live indefinitely. But they don't go to college, don't go to school until they're 20 years old, and then they go for 30 years. So they living 800, 900 years, they get to have a tremendous buildup of knowledge And that's why they have flying saucer technology much more advanced than what we have here on the exterior. In fact, I believe the flying saucer technology that our government has been able to back engineer is from flying saucers that they knocked down that came out here to like Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, yeah. So tell me, have you ever seen a UFO?
One time I was swimming in a swimming pool with my granddaughter, and I looked up, I saw this disc up there. It was just stationary, so I couldn't tell for sure if that was a UFO or not, but it looked like a flying saucer up there. And after a while, I looked, and it had gone. So, but I've had a lot of friends that have had first-hand experiences with. I worked as a musician in my high school after I got married, and my boss, he would go visit northern seminaries in northern Mexico as part of his job. And he told me that on the way home one evening, his car just stopped. It was going in the night down this straight road, and just the engine quit. And he looked off in the desert to his left, and he saw this flying saucer sitting out there on the desert, all lit up with lights and little men walking around it. Pretty soon they got in and zipped off into space.
And there's no pictures, right?
Well, it was at nighttime. He wasn't even thinking about taking pictures or anything. He was just wondering why his car wasn't running.
All right, stand by, sir. We've got to take our final break. X-Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Rodney Cluff, and his website is ourhollowEarth.com. And we'll both be back on the other side of this break as we continue and wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by L.A. Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
So I was watching the X-Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. SIMULTV.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
SIMULTV.com, sonny boy.
SIMULTV.com.
SIMULTV.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
SIMULTV.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. SIMULTV.com.
All right, so let me see if I understand this. The hollow earth is in the middle of the earth. The earth, in fact, according to those who believe in the hollow earth theory, say that it has its own sun. It
Correct.
has one landmass that is 16,000 miles wide. And
it has a shell from the outside of the inner surface of about 800 miles.
Okay. And this is where you believe that the lost tribes of Israel are, and this is where you believe that the original Garden of Eden is, or was.
Yes.
Why?
Because Olaf Janssen, for example, you talk about scientists that say that the earth is molten inside. Have you ever heard of anybody going down there and finding it molten? No.
Oh yeah, it's called It's called lava. You know, it's very simple. Gosh, we've got a home in Hawaii, and we look at a volcano, and the red bubbly stuff that used to come out of these volcanoes is called lava.
Yeah, but if the earth was full of lava, it would be breaking up, and continents would be sinking every day.
Not really.
Sure.
Why? Explain that to me.
Because lava is liquid.
Yes.
So continents can't float on liquid.
Well, this is why the continental shelves are floating. This is why the plates shift and float, because of the liquid. And when people take oil out of the ground, what they're doing, in my opinion, is they're taking out the blood of the earth. And this is why we have more sustained earthquake activity in certain places.
Well, the Inner Earth Guide who took William Morgan to the Hollow Earth through a cavern in Kentucky, he explained how the Earth was formed as a space bubble.
All right, sir, I understand. I understand this, but where's the proof? You keep on mentioning Olaf Janssen. And I haven't heard anything that could be classified as proof. There's no photographs that could be authenticated. And if this was real, wouldn't the scientific community know about this? Wouldn't people be talking about this? You know, and just to say it's got something to do with the government conspiracy to control the people on Earth, you know, these are wild statements that are made on the internet without any basis of reality.
My son is a scientist. He's a bioengineer and scientist.
Okay.
And when he was going to ASU, he brought up the subject of flying saucers, and they shut him down just like this.
Yeah.
That's what they do. This is world top secret. And anybody that has any credentials, they try to smash them down and make fun of them and ruin their career.
Well, you must admit it's wild.
This is the way they keep it secret, by making fun of people that see UFOs, that believe in UFOs. And where they come from? Well, they come from the hollow earth and from other planets.
But there's no proof.
Sure, there's proof.
Where?
It's all around you if you open your eyes and read a little bit.
Oh, you must read a different Bible than I do.
Well, it's even in the Bible.
The interpretation.
Read Ezekiel, you'll read about a flying saucer that came in
a dream.
Palestine.
In a dream.
It was not a dream. He was even taken up above the earth and looked down on the landmass. So It's whatever you want to believe.
That's right.
I respect your opinion.
But listen, I would love to hear somebody come on this show and give me evidence instead of a lot of hearsay. This guy Olaf Jansen said this, said that, he said this, he said that. These people from Kentucky went down this cave.
Orthodox scientists don't have one person that has gone to the center of the earth to prove that the earth is full of molten lava.
Well, has there been an Orthodox...
We have about 7 people that have gone to the Hollow Earth, eyewitnesses that have gone to the Hollow Earth and testified.
Who did they testify to?
Their dying day.
Who did they testify to? Who did they testify to?
Well, obviously you have never read Olaf Jansen's book.
No, and I don't intend to.
Well, see, your mind is made up and you don't want to believe it, so you believe whatever you want to believe.
I want, if somebody could come, like I said, not only to me, but to other people.
And you wouldn't believe a word they said.
Show me the proof. I'm a former police investigator. I don't deal in hypothetical situations. I don't deal in stories, folklore, myth. I deal in facts.
Well, Olaf Jansen went to the Hollow Earth.
How do you know that?
William Morgan went to the Hollow Earth.
How do you know that?
Byrd flew to the Hollow Earth.
How do you know that, sir? How do you know that?
And he was shut down by the United States Navy military intelligence.
How do you know that?
And to his very dying day, he declared that the earth was hollow and that he had been to the Hollow Earth, and yet they put a clamp down on him.
But how do you know that, sir?
Well, there is evidence. And whether you accept the evidence or not doesn't take away the truth of the evidence.
Or, sir, it doesn't give any credence, and it could just be a bunch of bunk like 95% of everything on the Internet is.
Well, whatever you call bunk, watch what you say. Because...
Why?
Because the truth is that our earth is hollow.
Prove it. Prove it. You're making
a
statement that can't be substantiated.
The belt is hollow.
Sir, you're making statements that cannot be substantiated. So why should I watch it?
I'm not telling you have to watch it. You don't have to believe anything that you don't want to believe.
Well,
is it exactly what you want? If you can believe that the earth is solid and full of lava, it's all in your head.
Oh, it is it?
It sure is.
Uh-huh.
Because the earth is not full of lava.
Well,
every time there's a giant earthquake, the earth rings like a bell. And a bell is hollow.
Why do you believe this why do you believe in this so forcefully? What do you know that the rest of the world doesn't know?
That the earth is hollow. And all the other planets are hollow too.
Uh-huh.
And even our sun is hollow.
Uh-huh.
You can see in my chapter 2 of the scientific evidence the polar openings of Venus, of Jupiter, of Saturn, of Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
And NASA has taken photos of these and published them on the internet. And whether you want to believe anything that's on the internet or not, those are photos from scientists that have been to those planets and have photographed their polar openings.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that scientists have already gone to the planets?
Well, they've sent their robots, their spacecraft,
All right,
to take pictures of them.
Well, listen, if this hollow earth theory is legitimate and they have all this marvelous engineering down there, including flying saucers, why wouldn't they just let us borrow a flying saucer to zip off to these planets to get the evidence?
Well, they've taken people to the moon. We met with Howard Menger at the UFO conference in 1990 in Phoenix, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
He was showing his little flying saucer he had made as a hobby there. At one time, he tells us in his book how he when he was 6 years old, playing on his farm, father's farm, he went out in the woods and he met this beautiful woman. Next to her was her flying saucer from Venus. And she asked him if when he got to be of age, he would help them as they were coming to Earth to help us in various things. And when he became of age, he started helping them customize to Earth customs.
All right, I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight. You're a little bit out there. And let me just see. I was trying to keep track. So the earth is hollow. That is where the lost tribes of Israel are. That is where the original Garden of Eden is. Let me see. That is where the UFOs come from. And all the planets are hollow, just like the earth is. Penguins down. Let me see. He was giving us. Let's see. The grapes are the size of a head, and some other weird stuff. And this guy Olaf Jensen. Where's the proof? If here we are in the year 2018, how come nobody's got photographs? How come all you hear is this bibble babble from people who believe in UFOs, believe they add the old adage of the Bible in there? They don't make any sense. And when you ask them for proof, they can't provide any because they don't have any. It's fiction at its best. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, you can buy his book. Now, there's incentive. So what does your grandfather do? Oh, my grandfather writes about UFOs, the center of the earth, and I think he's a little wingy, but he's grandpa. I guess it comes with age. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My goodness. Watch out for the Hollow Earth Gang.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Eli Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.